And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to a real-time online singing experience. My name is Laura Mardones, and I am many things, but first and foremost, right now, I am an online digital singer. I am in the admin teams for the Facebook book groups of the Digital Chord Ringers, also World Jam, and I'm in the management for the company called Music Bridge, are developing services for online singers. Also, I'm a front row bass in running a show chorus, and today I am so proud to be presenting this real-time online singing experience where we have put together two quartets from two sides of the world who are going to present to you each one song that they have been rehearsing for less than 3 weeks. They have just come out of the rooms where they have been giving a wonderful coaching from two master coaches for each quartet, and you will soon learn some more about that. With me today, I have my partner in crime on stage, please, Les Mower. He's the other admin of the Digital Chord Ringers, and he's the one I blame for being here today. Hi, Les.
Hi, we were sitting there talking one night, and we said, something like this ought to happen, and we agreed. And then I went on and announced that it was happening, and told her she had to do all the work, and she has.
I woke up the next morning and I found the post on Facebook. Thank you so much, Les, for being such a little fire starter. And up on stage next, we have my awesome co-hosts. It's Mo Field and Judy Poshkai. Welcome.
Hi, Laura.
Hey, Judy.
Very
Hey, Mo.
exciting to be here.
Hi. Guys, I'm so happy you're here. You will be monitoring the YouTube comments, won't you?
Absolutely. So feel free to send in any questions or comments and cheer on the quartets, and we'll pass them along.
Absolutely. Now remember, everybody back home in the audience, we can't really see your faces, but we can so hear the love and affection coming from you. And the way you make that really reach through the screen is by typing in the comments. And I can tell it's happening. So thank you so much. So thanks, Mo. Thanks, Judy. You will be there, and you might be whispering in our ears every now and then.
Have a great show.
Definitely. Have fun, everybody. It's good to see you here.
So, why are we here? You guys are so curious. The reason we're here is that we put together two quartets who are going to be performing for you shortly, live, from different corners of the world. You guys must be wondering, is this even possible? My whole life, I've been told, can't be done. Latency. A lot of people have tried to overcome it anyway, and Skype rehearsals has been a thing. We saw it on stage when I think Love Notes demonstrated how they tried to rehearse a few years back in Las Vegas. Let's see how it sounded just this Friday when a quartet tried to rehearse just using Zoom. Please, can we play the video? One, two, three, two, two.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be.
I am back, and this is what happens when you don't have a proper director as we're used to. But what did you think of that? Is that what it usually sounds like when you try to rehearse on Zoom or Skype or any other of those video conferencing systems? It's a little bit out of sync, don't you think? Well, it can be better. because there is an online software which is free, it's open source, and it's called Jamulus. By no means is this a new thing. It's been around for many, many years, but of course, the greater audience didn't catch on to it until this year, of course. And now, I want to welcome the first quartet of the evening up on stage. Please turn your videos on and you can unmute yourselves and come up on stage, the Unsinkables. Now I have to be the audience for everybody here now. Welcome everybody. Now I will quickly introduce you. We have Tom, say hi.
Hi.
Robbie.
Hi.
Wendy.
Hello.
And Robin.
Hi.
Welcome everybody, and please, what are you singing for us today, Tom?
We're singing Let There Be Peace on Earth.
Wonderful. Please, go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as our Father. Brothers all are we. Let me walk with my brothers in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my song of vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Begin with me. Begin with me. Begin with me.
Yay! Everybody turn your videos on, and yay! You can applaud for the gang. Yay! Wow, thank you so much. And this is a quartet that spans the entire North American continent from the East Coast to the West Coast. Tom, you're in San Diego?
Yes.
Robbie, you're in?
Florida.
Robin, where are you?
I'm in Alberta.
Canada. And Wendy?
I'm in South Florida.
You have had all of one rehearsal prior to today with this quartet, haven't you?
Yeah, I stepped in because the original lead is ill. So I stepped in kind of yesterday, Friday.
Yes, Friday, that's true. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll soon be back with the Unsinkables and their wonderful coaches. So now, please, everybody turn your cameras off and your Jamulus mute yourselves. Thank you. Well, what did you think? We have an audience here spanning from, well, pretty much all over the North Americas. We have Portland, Des Moines, Ann Arbor, Detroit. We have London. We have Oregon, Uppsala in Sweden, and Stockholm. We have people from Rotterdam in Netherlands. So we have a pretty international audience. And what did you think? Please send me your comments in the chat and we'll see how that goes. one question that has come in, will this be viewable later? Yes, please spread the link, spread the event to people who weren't here now. They will be able to see it later. But why are we doing this? Let's get back to the topic at hand. Well, this is a very important matter for singers all over the world. We're mainly barbershoppers here, but there are singers from other disciplines as well, a cappella singers and ensembles with instruments as well. We haven't been able to meet up for the past 6 months or more. We're possibly not going to be able to for a while longer. The consequences for this are huge. Just practically speaking, we're losing our voices little by little. This is something we need to maintain on a daily basis. The choirs are losing members on a daily and weekly basis. Our main organizations within barbershop, the Sweet Adelines, Harmony Inc., and Barbershop Harmony Society, we're losing talent by the minute. Because if we can't sing, well, who are we? And so it's also, as well, you know, it's a loss. It's a sadness, and it's needless. We don't need to be without it. We can sing. We can be together. We just need to be aware of the fact that there is a solution. Jamulus does work. You just saw a little demonstration. And this is by a quartet who never met, who are spread out across a continent, who've only rehearsed a few times. They've only had 3 weeks to learn new music. This is the result of that. Imagine what you could do with a quartet in your same town. And this is not just something that I think you will be able to use now while you might be in complete or partial lockdown, but think of the possibilities for a music team in a choir, in an ensemble. The possibilities of really singling out voices, of having rehearsals, listening to voices in the way that you can with Jamulus, or just for that matter, no more snow days that ruin your rehearsal because half the people couldn't come. Imagine being able to put together a quartet across distances that can rehearse on a regular basis. Imagine the additional rehearsals a chorus could put in, because they don't have to go to the extra trouble of booking a place to be at or the extra expense of that. There are so many possibilities. This could be the tool that the new handy recorder for recording your own things. It's as natural as that. It could be a director stream. It can be a management team's tool to help you. Also, imagine being able to reach those coaches that are so far, far away. Now they're here. They're accessible. That's exactly what happened now. So please come back on stage. The Unsinkables and their coaches, David and Sandy Wright. Come on up on stage. The big applause of one person. You can turn your Jamulus. You can applaud yourselves. I think we're going to have to do that here. As barbershoppers, we're so used to having huge crowds of cheers and love coming in. Well, we'll doing it for ourselves. Welcome back, everybody. And Unsinkables, that is how you named yourselves. I would say you were fairly well synced, and the potential of even improving even further is clearly tangible. But Tom, tell me, what was the biggest challenge in this project when you signed up and when you performed today?
Well, it is overcoming the latency, the lag that you hear. The farther away you are, the greater the delay. So that was a challenge, and basically it's really, really difficult in the first few minutes, and then you get very accustomed to it, and after like an hour, it's really just second nature.
I'm happy to hear that. Second nature, what do you think? Robbie, you've been singing in Jamulus now for a while, have you?
Yeah, I've been using Jamulus since about May.
You're very experienced and a veteran in this field, I would say.
Yeah, sure. It's definitely the lag, and making sure that you have a system that allows you to succeed in syncing up with each other and making sure that you're listening to each other in the right way. Not listening to your physical voice out here, but listening to what you're hearing in your ear.
Okay, so what you're hearing in your ear, trusting that you know what you're doing and not necessarily reacting to what you're doing
Right.
in your mouth with your lips, but hearing the sound coming back. And so for you who haven't been using Jamulus before, what Robbie and Tom have been talking about is that, of course, there is a little delay from the time that sound leaves your mouth, enters the microphones, and goes through your computer to the interwebs, and then coming out to somebody else, but then also coming back to you. So when you're doing this across large distance, it's going to sound a little bit like an echo. If I do this, I hear my voice here, but I also hear my voice coming in through my headphones, and there is a delay. That is what they're talking about that you have to get used to. But Robin, did you find that it was difficult?
I've been working with actually a different software, so I'm also kind of gotten accustomed to the lag with over the last 6 months or so. But it's just something that you learn to work with, and it just becomes a part of whatever you're doing. It's not a challenge once you learn to let it go, I guess.
Fabulous. Thank you, Robin. Wendy, you're the newest in the crew. Anything you want to, a few tips for those who are jumping on board right now and are just rushing away to get Jamulus?
So I've never used Jamulus. I was shown what Jamulus is, but I had never used it. And I haven't sung in a while since lockdown. So this was a bit overwhelming. The lag is difficult to get used to, but everyone just advised me to just push through anyway and do what I do.
And girl, did you ever. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a balance between listening and not listening so much, if that makes sense.
Well, let's hear what the coaches have to say. Sandy and David Wright, thank you so much for doing this project with us. You guys are fabulous, and I'm so grateful to you. Have you enjoyed
Thanks.
this?
Absolutely. I mean, for us, as directors, we direct mimes every week because they're Zooming and they're on mute. And so this gave us an opportunity to actually hear what we were coaching. I will say that this was an experiment with Zoom as well as Jamulus on at the same time. Mm-hmm. And so we were seeing and hearing. And so that was what made it fun, even though you have to kind of disconnect with the visual because
Yes.
there is a little latency there. But we could work with vocal texture. We could work with tuning issues and matching vowels and things like that. It was a little more difficult to work with synchronization. But if it's a small group like a quartet, oh my goodness, I think that there are just endless possibilities
Yes.
in being able to do this. Plus, if I could add one more thing, I think that they chose us as coaches because we're old, and I know that's weird, but people will say, oh, it's great for the young people and all this, but if we can do it, and like David and I are in our 70s, we could do it, you can do it.
That's great. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Sandy.
Yeah, if I can add to that, that we were taking a quartet of, good singers, but they just hadn't been together, and Wendy not at all until very recently. So, yes, you do have to get used to this thing of not being precisely together like a really good A-level quartet would, but then again, who knows? I found that the more, we just let them sing and go through phrases again and again, and not tell them so much what to do, let them discover for themselves what they need to do to get it synced up. The more it kind of came together, and I can imagine, a quartet that's a good quartet that has a song in their repertoire, so they know what the phrasing is, getting together, and it's gonna sound almost normal to them, because the main issue is how to proceed, when to proceed as you're going through phrases, and if they all have the same notion of what that procedure is, then they're going to be together, and I think it's going to work pretty well.
And the thing about the lag also is that in a large part it's dependent on how far apart you are geographically. So if you're accustomed to singing in a group and you live close together, the lag is inconsequential. It's like you're in the same room.
That is very true. Well, thank you so much, the Unsinkables and the coaches, Sandy and David Wright. Thank you so much for today. Stay around. We need the audience. And we're moving along because we're moving to the next item on the agenda, which is explaining a little bit how this came about. I would like to invite Les Mower back on stage, as well as Judy and Mo. Please turn your cameras on and you can unmute yourselves in Jamulus. And as you can tell, my dear audience, I'm instructing them what to do because we're using two pieces of software. As we mentioned, Jamulus. This is what we're using for the sound. This is the audio coming in. And you don't need really Zoom unless you want to see the faces of who you're talking to. But the sync between the sound and the image it's not synchronized. It's two different pieces of software. Now, my beautiful sound and tech engineers who are producing this show for us from the World Jam crew are doing their best to sync the audio with the image, but it's not reliable and certainly not for singing together as we do. But Les, as you mentioned, how did this come about? What was your observation when you rocked up and talked to me late that night?
Well, we had sung together several times across the ocean, singing tags, and then I ran across a guy down in South Florida that was working with his quartet, and I listened to him, and he was acting like a real coach. Working on vowel sounds. It was as if he was on the people were on the risers, and he was doing a great job of it. So we just got talking that night, and I said, what we need to do is show people that if this can be done across the ocean, or in this case with the last group across the continent, think what you could do across your county.
Yeah.
And then, like I said before, and then I had you do all the work.
Almost. We've done a fair bit. But Mo, what was your thinking here? Had you been on the same train of thought?
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, the biggest question overall, and everybody wants to know, can you sing in time? You know, that is the biggest question that everybody always asks. But for me, it was that as long as I can connect with somebody, we'll work on how to improve that later. But let's make that connection happen first. And my first experiences on Jamulus actually were in a band setting with Judy, which is fun.
Speaking of the band, then, Judy.
Yes.
Tell us, what's your experience and what led you to this point?
Well, my husband, Chris, was the first to discover Jamulus, and of course, the techie that he is, and he tested it out on the weekly Saturday show called World Jam. That is where Laura and I met. Yes, she's showing off her merch.
Shameless plug.
Plug away,
And
girl.
it's basically musicians from all over the world who have a live stage experience like this. And it's replicating as best as can be what it's like to perform. And as we all know, this has been a big void in our lives. So my band started to rehearse using Jamulus, and of course that was a little bit, again, the challenges of latency, but you get used to it, and it improves us as listeners. And we started performing, and that's how Laura and I met. Then I hauled Mo and Amelia in. We're now jamming all together, and it's fantastic. It's a whole other community, and most exciting, I think, is that this will be an opportunity for us as singers to get singing again together live. Not just
Absolutely.
with recordings.
Can I add into there also?
Absolutely.
The thing about working with Jamulus is one thing we don't get to do as a cappella singers in a live environment when we're together is listen more intently for nuance. And this is one of those areas where we have to not only employ listening for nuance, but we have to employ trust and instinct and trusting ourselves with the music, trusting the other people are there with us on a bit of a different level. I find that is going to have an impact on us when we do get back together and sing in person. It will actually sharpen our acuity immensely. So this is an incredible tool to sharpen a whole bunch of things and enjoy hearing somebody else's voice.
Yes.
That's great input, Mo. So, not just for now, but also a useful tool going forward. So
Long
if
distance
anybody,
quartets, for example.
Oh, yes.
Right.
You know,
But not
Lovely
just
sweet.
quartets. It's not just quartets. How many people can be in one of these Jamulus servers or like a room at the same time? Well, we crashed the server yesterday and we were about 30, 20 some odd people, but there is ways to set things up so you can be more people. To be honest, I've seen setups where we can be over 100 people singing together at the same time. So is this a viable solution for choirs? Definitely. Absolutely. We're moving towards that. And the technology is constantly evolving, and I would say rapidly even. The development in the software is at the point where I think even there might be a new release of Jamulus coming tomorrow. Am I right?
I believe so.
Whoop, whoop. So, anybody who wonders where to get it, you want to go to, you know what? I will post it. And speaking of Chris Rimple has written this most amazing and comprehensive document outlining band rehearsals, how to rehearse online if you're a band, which is totally applicable for a cappella singers as well. Now, this includes a lot of different technologies, not only Jamulus, and it has lots of good advice. But if you're an a cappella singer and you just want to get started, a lot of the people here tonight basically only installed the software and plugged in the regular cell phone's headset, and that's all. So really, it's easy to get started. It's also easy to invest in more equipment because we can. Anyway, thank you so much, Joe, Judy, Judy, and Les. Thank you. You may step off the stage because we're about to welcome the next quartet.
Hooray!
Yay! Thank you. You can mute yourselves. And now, please, up on stage, the second quartet of the evening. It's Jitter! Come up on stage, turn your cameras on, and get yourself with sound on in Jamulus. Welcome. Hi, this is the quartet called Jitter. Quickly introducing Allison.
Hello.
Mindy.
Hi.
And Kiki.
Yeah. Hi.
And Cleopatra.
Hi.
Now, where are you guys situated? Where are you streaming from today? Allison.
I'm in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mindy.
Everett, Washington, near Seattle.
Kiki.
In Stockholm.
As well
Slightly
as
north of Stockholm.
Yes, and Cleopatra.
Also Stockholm,
So,
Sweden.
Stockholm, Sweden, Pennsylvania, Washington State. Is that correct?
Yep.
So you guys are literally spanning the globe.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
And the time zones.
And the time zones. How do you coordinate rehearsals? Don't tell me. Just show me with a song. What are you performing for us today, Mindy?
It's the music that brings us together by Clay Hine.
And doesn't it really, though?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. Please sing for us.
We all know it's the music that brings us together. It's the music that brings joy untold. Those sweet melodies, those grand harmonies, like the fire that burns in my soul.
turn your sound on and show your appreciation. Yay. Great job. Thank you. And let's keep the quartet Jitter on stage and welcome up also their coaches. And you had none other than Dale Syverson and Peggy Graham. Welcome. So let's start off with the quartet. We've mentioned latency as being an issue when you're new to Jamulus. Mindy, tell me, what did you do to overcome that issue?
So a couple things. It was first Judy. We met with Judy, and she had us count in, and then Peggy gave us this great idea for me to say something, and then we could all come in. We all sort of decided on a plan of the phrasing and how the song would go, and then I just sing. I have one headphone off, and I ignore them mostly. And I just go. And
Wait a minute, Mindy. Which part are you singing?
Lead.
The lead is ignoring everybody else. I just want to say that.
Pretty much, yeah. Except, now today we decided, through our lovely coaches, that when the other parts have cool movement stuff and I'm just posting, then I listen to them.
Ah, but haven't we heard that before somewhere or someplace? I don't know.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a lead.
Oh, so you got a lot of good advice from your coaches. Coaches, Dale and Peggy. Hi. How
It was
did
so much
you?
fun to work with.
Did you enjoy this?
They were a blast.
Is this a leading question that I'm posing right now? Did you enjoy? How did you feel this experience has been for you?
It was very interesting, the amount of detail that you can hear in the Jamulus situation with the four voices and how they're interacting.
It was amazing because we got to dig into, well, all four of these women have been barbershoppers for a good length of time. I don't think we had anybody that was under 20, 25 years of experience. And so we got into some conversations and some execution of breath timing to improve synchronization, heighten their awareness on that, and talk about how they move through there's several embellishments in that song that are complex and have several chords in them, and talked about how to work a more unison timing of that, and they really did beautifully.
That's so great, and it did sound so beautiful. You guys did so well, and we're getting a lot of comments coming in from YouTube here. No lag and wow, and of course some of these comments also apply for the Unsinkables. Everybody's cheering you on so much. So let me just ask this, Dale and Peggy. Let's start with Peggy. Do you consider yourself to be an extremely techie person?
This would be no.
No. Okay. Dale, how about you?
I love technology. Am I good at it? No. I collect all kinds of it, but it's not. I haven't made it my friend yet.
Oh, okay. But then let me ask you this, Dale. Would you do this again? Would you coach a quartet or an ensemble using
I actually
Jamulus?
would, based on the fact that this is my third experience of getting on, because we had our initial one where was the audition, and I thought I was going to tear my hair out the first time. And then the second time we met was that yesterday?
Thursday.
For a tech rehearsal?
That was Thursday.
Okay, we met Thursday for a tech rehearsal, and I had one glitch getting ready. And today I just got on. Okay?
Whoa.
So there is a learning curve, but if I'm in the same age group as Sandy and David, and so we're all baby boomers, and Laura's right. Sandy's right, if we can do this, other people can do it. And it just took me 3 times to be one piece of information I was missing, didn't go to the right place. So that was why I had the difficulty. So it really wasn't that I didn't know what to do. I didn't have the right information and didn't wind up in the right place. So once I was in the right place, everything was great.
That's awesome.
Yep.
And Peggy, anything you want to add to this?
We were so fortunate to have many wonderful voices that tried out and trying to winnow them down. We were fortunate to have these two strong mid-range voices in lead and baritone. It happened that both of them are baritones, and Mindy was kind enough to switch over and sing lead, and it really put her out of her comfort zone. But she rose to the occasion, you know?
That was a beautiful segue, Peggy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that, because that's actually where we want to head next. Thank you so much, Jitter, Dale, and Peggy, for being here today.
Thank you.
And while you step off the stage, as you will, rose to the occasion, and that's what we're trying to do now. We're trying to rise above the current situation and see, well, how can we make our lives better from this, and at least move forward. Going forward, then, what is the next step in this project Rose that we've been calling it, the project of real on-time singing experience? Let me bring Judy and Mo back on stage with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. Because we have been discussing, what do we do now? We did this as a proof of concept, right? We wanted to prove. What have we proven with this, Mo? What have we accomplished?
I think, first of all, the big thing is we've accomplished that people can sing together at the same time, and that there are some workarounds that we can get with as far as latency goes, but there is technology, and let's face it, when there's one thing that's a door open in technology, there's always going to be 1,000 nerds that want to improve upon it the world over, so we can count on the nerds. Everybody, let's give a big round of applause for
Chris. We're talking to you,
nerds,
Chris.
Tech geeks.
Yay, Chris.
We love you and we applaud you. But yeah, the proof of concept is this. One, that as a cappella singers, we are not used to having to apply certain skill sets, which now we are challenged to have to do. So, okay, great. That means we get to challenge upping our game. We have to have more acceptance for what isn't working and look for solutions that are working in real time, even if it's with milliseconds of lag. We know we can get with some tech person to help all of that happen. And we do know that we can sing together in groups, which is great. We will find... We're barbershoppers. We will always find smarter ways to get better at whatever it is that we do. And if this makes our ears sharper and our instincts smarter, and a lot of questions were coming in about coning, and to that I say, yes, you can adjust your faders, but how about this? How about instead of learning just our part, we learn the entire chart, so we know how to be receptive as musicians, to have an interactive conversation with the other musicians that we're singing with. We know when to lay back. We know when to leave space. We know how to modify our articulation, our pressure, our tone color, and our texture.
So what I'm hearing from you, Mo, is that not only can we maintain our singing abilities, but if we start singing digitally, online, we're actually going to become better barbershoppers?
It will challenge our musicianship to reach higher levels, understanding what micro nuance is. You know, in the chart, in the musicianship, in the part-specific accentuations within that chart, and the technical and musical expressions of those things.
But what if I don't want to do all of that? I just want to sing. Judy, can I just go up and sing?
I think that we've shown that's possible, in fact, with people that you know and don't know,
right,
from all around the world or in your own city. And if I also could just comment on the fact that I had a chance to coach each of these quartets very briefly, and from a coaching perspective, it is really like we're coaching the same elements that we would if we were live with the ensemble. Okay. Sure, a couple more minutes might be spent on the synchronization. However, it's the same product. It's the same thing. This is what if we could be together, we'd be doing the same thing. So I think that's why there's so much interest in all of you here today and excitement about this. A lot of comments coming in with questions about how easy is it to set up, the technology, what are the potential barriers to this. And I think, as we've heard from a couple of the other coaches today and from Laura and the singers and performers, that there are some, steps to take, but we can make this happen.
Perfect. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you.
Welcome. So before you take off, and you're going to help me field some questions also, because we will have a short Q&A session as well before we wrap up in about 20 more minutes.
Sure.
But what do we do now? Where do we go from here with Project Rose?
Aha. So what we do is we do this again as soon as possible. That's what we do.
What
and
a good
I know,
idea.
Yeah, right. And
One more audition.
yes, there will
For
be.
whom?
For anybody who wants to audition. There'll be information that will be put out by Project Rose, so keep looking for that. Share that with all of your friends. We want to get as many people as possible on top of this kind of a project. Judy and I are rounding up the next host of coaches for the next eventuality, which should be coming soon. So that's
And how
where we're
soon
at.
is this going to happen, Laura?
Yes, Laura.
It could be as soon as next Sunday, November 1st, we'll hold a new round of auditions. So everybody, please jot it down in your calendars. If you want to have the chance to be part of something that you might not have done before, please come to the auditions. November 1st, I'm not going to say a time because we're right in the middle of switching time zones and time dates in summer and winter time. So how are you going to keep track of this? 2 places. Facebook. Go to the Digital Chord Ringers Facebook group. Join that group. We will be posting more information there. Also, online. Actually, that's the address. digitalchordringers.online. So just Google that and you'll find something. digitalchordringers.online and also on Facebook. November 1st, if you're all curious, even if you have no intention of actually doing it, for crying out loud, just download Jamulus and get going and come to the audition and see what the hubbub it was all about. Why gosh, why
And
not?
the auditions they're
Open.
not overwhelming.
No.
You'll sing some tags. That's basically it.
Yes.
So, yeah.
So for that, we will post links and everything is going to be on that website, digitalchordringers.online.
Already up in the chat in YouTube.
Oh, excellent. Les, you're the one running the site. If you want to unmute yourself in Jamulus and tell us what you think.
As a matter of fact, I just did. I was just thinking, by the way, for coaches, whether you want to be a coach in this or whether you just want to learn how to coach, you need to be there for those auditions and be part of the coaching discussions.
Absolutely. Coaches out there, any coaches, raise your hand. Ping me, Laura, Judy, or Mo, or Les. Let any one of us know if you're at all interested, and we'll gladly accept your assistance. The more coaches, the more quartets we'll be able to onboard.
And I'm sure Laura is going to update the forms for signing in.
I might delegate that to some list, but thank you. Okay, we're moving right along. Thank you so much, Mo, Judy, Les, and the date for the next showcase, depending on how many sign up and which coaches we get. So I don't want to promise anything. So keep an eye out. That's all I can say for the moment. But auditions next Sunday, November 1st. Now, there has been a lot of discussion about tech. I mentioned a service and a company called Music Bridge. So that's also an option when more and more users come online and more demands and expectations are placed on this. More and more companies are going to start producing services to fulfill those needs. So if you're at all curious at what we offer, it's both a simple hardware solution. So if you don't have a computer to install Jamulus, whether it's because you're only working off of a work laptop and you have an employer who doesn't allow you to install any kind of stuff on that computer, or if you don't even have a computer at home or use it in your work, then maybe the solution that we offer is viable, which is a simple little box. Also for those people who just don't want to be installing stuff or learn new software, this is also going to be viable for you. It's a simple box. You just connect a network cable and a USB headset to it and a plug to the power outlet, and then you're good to go together with a subscription to the Music Bridge platform. So if you're at all curious about that, rock on up to the website, which is called musicbridge.world. And I hope that I've said it right. I'm going to check my chats to make sure my producer corrects me if I'm wrong, but it seems like I was right. Let me repeat that. musicbridge.world. Sign up and if you're interested to know more, let us know. There is a little place to type in your information, musicbridge.world. There might be other bridges that are musical out there, so make sure you get the one that's world. Okay, enough of the shameless plugging. I've done two of those today. If you want to find out more about World Jam, which is where we perform weekly every Saturday, you can find that channel on YouTube, youtube.com/worldjam. Also, I saw there was a question about a choir singing. There have been choirs singing online. One of them is called the Jamulus Choir. If you want to find out more about choral singing, you can go to Facebook at the group called Jamulus Choral Community. Sorry, many consonants. I'm not born in the States. I'm a Swedish person, so apologies for any mispronunciations throughout the evening. But let's do a quick little Q&A session. I'm going to ask Judy and Mo, have you had time to field the questions and select a few who are the most common to appear? Judy, you're welcome back on stage together with me and Mo if you want to.
Do you want me to turn my camera on or just...
No, you can turn your camera on. That's
okay,
fine.
I'm just waiting for this to...
You're so very expressive and good on stage.
Although I like your Canadian ball cap that she's wearing. It's very fetching.
So there are questions about, as we've already addressed the blend and the balance and all that kind of stuff. Questions about the technology, if you can use cell phones for this, Laura.
It's a very good question, and the answer is shortly no. One of the biggest and most important things about singing online is that you're using a wired connection. Don't ever use Wi-Fi. You cannot use your cell phone for this. You cannot use a surf tablet for this. Not at the moment. There are software developers working on a solution for Android, possibly also for iOS. However, the sync issues, the jitter, the disturbances increase. It's going to be much more unstable. Just don't. The same applies for Bluetooth headsets with microphone. No. Wired, you want to go wired. And if you think that sounds so old-fashioned and so 90s, well, so be it. Was that a clear enough answer?
Excellent
Yes, ma'am.
answer, Laura. Okay, so there's another comment here, a couple of comments. Actually, people really want to hear what an established quartet would sound like when you're not just putting together people that don't have an understanding of what the chart actually is. And Laura, we definitely have some explanations for you who asked those questions. And Laura, how would you like to tell us why we made the selection this time around to use people that don't know one another?
It's all about relatability. If we had presented a quartet of sweet ads queens or current international champions and people who are ringmasters level, everybody's going to say, well, sure, of course they can do that. Of course they can master latency. Of course, because they're awesome and champions. Everybody can do this. It's accessible for everybody. So anybody can sing online, and we wanted to prove that exactly by just gathering people who don't know each other, who haven't been singing together for ages, who don't already blend, and show you this is what happens when you bring complete strangers from opposite sides of the world. Talk about running uphill, people. If they can do this, what won't you be able to do? Wow.
Exactly.
I'm getting so excited about this. Sorry. Too much.
Another
hands.
question, as the coach/director, are you also using Jamulus for audio and Zoom for video?
Well, as you heard the coaches mention, and you could see them, I could see them, sorry. We didn't show you the coaching, but a lot of the coaches, just like many of the judges in a competition, weren't even looking at them. They were concentrated on what's happening in the headphones. So what a coach would be doing visually, well, I'm probably going to let you answer that in a minute, Judy, but there is the usage of video when you're coaching using Jamulus is purely for communication, not because you can conduct. As a director, you won't be able to conduct the choir or the quartet and expect them to be in sync with your movements. If you do it, it's just to give them a sense. If you're directing style is dynamic and you sort of show with your body a forward motion where you want to connect. Those are the signs that you would do. And probably as you do in real life, you'll do them a little ahead of time. As a Zoom instructor, at least, I'm always a beat ahead showing what the next move is for my students. And I assume a coach would or a director would work in a similar way.
Well, speaking
Would
as
you
a
tell me, Judy?
director,
What do you think?
Speaking as a director, I just want to jump in.
Yes.
I have found that even working with Zoom, the only way to get people to actually sing in time, if I am able to play in my room with my monitors the sound as I am directing. So imagine the implications with Jamulus and Zoom, if indeed, like you were saying, our body language is giving the impetus of how to move forward, and instead of worrying about this is where we land, which I have to be honest, even when I do that live in a room with people, there is always latency. It's always about propelling the music, and letting the listeners find their automatic place to land. And I can't see that Jamulus will do anything except actually help directors get out of the way and let the music flow a bit more if everybody's clued in on Jamulus and the director is actually using Zoom to help that momentum happen.
Thanks, Mo. Judy, do you have anything to add regarding visuals?
I just think that it's going to help us become more authentic in our performance as well, because we are going to be so focused on listening and connecting to the music more so, and then we can allow ourselves to really have that show, whether we're seen on Zoom or not. So, yeah.
Great.
There is another question. A lot of compliments, by the way, and one for you, Laura, that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And people really enjoyed hearing the two quartets. I think questions about whether we would be seeing a chorus today. Do you want to address why you didn't do that?
There will be no chorus performing today, and the reason is this is quite a big enough project as it is. But there is a chorus that I've been a member of, the Jamulus Chambers Chorus, because we're all standing in our respective chambers singing. And they rehearse on a weekly basis, and you can also find them on Facebook if you search for Jamulus Chambers Chorus. My own chorus, where I sing the Running a Show chorus, is starting to rehearse more and more using Jamulus. More and more of my sisters are getting Jamulus. So every week I arranged it so that we are singing together, those of us. The same goes for our brother chorus, The Entertainment, and I'm guessing many more.
Are the ambassadors of harmony?
Yes, I know David and Sandy are working with their choirs and onboarding them on Jamulus. Also, every Tuesday there is Jerry's tag night, tag party on Jamulus, which I was part of for so many weeks during the summer until my own choir started up again. Wonderful to sing tags with the guys. So are there choirs online? Well, get yours on. And do you want to start up a choir? Wow, chat me up. I'm totally on board. I wouldn't be opposed to that idea. Sounds awesome.
Awesome.
I might actually do that. I was gonna do that. Might
Get
still
on
happen.
that.
This question is Jamulus strictly an audio platform, no video?
Correctly. That's exactly it. That's how this manages to reduce the lag as much as it does. That's a reason that a video conferencing system such as Skype or Zoom does not work. So because Jamulus is audio only, it works. And you can use Zoom to add the visuals, but it's aside and it's disconnected.
Another question is there a way to manage sound balance coming from each singer? The quartet balance was pretty berry heavy for one of the listeners. So yes, there is. Laura, tell us more.
So what it looks like, I won't show it to you right now, but basically what you see is like a little mixer table right there on your desktop and the computer. So you have the name of each person in the room or on the server, as it were, and you can slide their levels to where you want them, and it only affects your own listening experience. It's your personal mix. Nobody else knows what you've done or have you set them. So if you really want to hear more of this particular voice because you're trying to tune into that one more than to others, you slide their little fader up, and vice versa. The one that you don't want impacting you so much, take it down. So you adjust that. That obviously is nothing you do in real life. I mean, I don't go doing. I want more of my tenor.
That's
No.
usually what a coach comes in and tells you. Hey, and the benefit of jam is you can also mute somebody. And that's the end of that. Hey, another question's come in. Do you find better performance with private or public servers, since public is cloud-based and hosted by Jamulus' servers? So questions on that.
Actually, depending on. Open servers are the best because that's where you go jamming. That's where you meet new friends. That's where you go, for instance, just tag singing or just jumping in and whatever. If you don't want to intermix with other people's, then you set up your own server. But I'm pretty sure you can set up your own servers in the cloud. Yes, my producer is confirming this. So if you set up your private server in the cloud, then you get the best of those two situations. Again, Music Bridge is going to offer that option for choirs and ensembles who want to rehearse and have their own servers. We will provide that for them if you don't want to do it on your own. But let me tell you, people, it's super simple. There are so many tutorials. There are so many videos explaining how to set up your own private server in the cloud. And it's not that expensive either.
Cheap.
So you can do this all on your own for your ensemble and your choir. You can do it now.
Absolutely. Another question about crackling. There's a bit of crackling on some lines, and I know there's an aspect of jitter and buffering. Do you want to address that for us?
Well, the tech bits, this is where you can start investing in more and more equipment, basically. But the crackling could be a consequence of the connection. Sometimes you can't really do anything about it. Sometimes it has to do with the server that you've chosen. If you've set up a server whose capacity is 10 people, it's going to sound awesome with 2 people in there, but once you cram in more people, even though it can fit 10, it's going to start sounding a little bit worse as more people come on. So, but for more technical aspects, I do recommend that you check out Chris Rimple's document. Go to the Jamulus official Facebook page. Go to Jamulus World Jam on Facebook as well. Ask all of these questions. There are tutorials, there are explanations, and there are so many awesome people who are just waiting, gagging for anybody to ask a question so that they can help you. That's the attitude of this community. I've seldom encountered so generous a crowd outside of the barbershop community. This is amazing.
Particularly you, Laura. I have to commend you for your generosity. Another
thank
question:
you.
Can
Last
Jamulus-
one then, Judy.
Yes.
Last question.
Can it be used in conjunction with a recording, say to sing against a
Yes.
different part, or if we don't
Yes.
have all the parts at a rehearsal?
Yes, that's exactly how we did it for the auditions. Basically, one member needs to have the ability to connect to Jamulus from 2 instances, which is what I do. I just connect my cell phone and route it through my external sound card and do that. It's not very complicated. There are other ways to accomplish this, but yes, you can do it. So how? It's a matter of choice, personal opinion. Okay, I think that's about it. We're out of time because the hour has passed. Thank you so much, everybody. Can everybody turn their cameras back on and your Jamulus sound can come back on? Thank you, everybody who has been here today for helping us and for being a part of this amazing journey. We are receiving so many comments. I want to give a tiny shout out to also another person who's written good tutorials. It's Anand Sitarams of the, I can't remember the quartet, the ensemble's name. But
Vocal Revolution.
Vocal Revolution, thank you. And somebody asked about, can we hear an established and good quartet? Let me give you a tip. They are called the Tulips from IKEA. It's a Dutch-Swedish quartet who do amazing work online. Check them out. They performed at the World Jam. I want to thank all the coaches today, all the singers, and all the audience members for tuning in, for asking questions. Share the link, share the knowledge, and share the music. Thank you for being here today. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Jam on.
And we can go off. Thank you, producers.
Well done.
Yay.
Oh my God.
All right, everybody.
Laura, you were wonderful.
Laura, that was great.
That was fabulous.
Thank you.
Well done, friend. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, everybody.
Great.
Mo,
I think
and
we're offline.
how many of us here have a server? Because I mean, I do,
I
and
have one.
I can take up to 25 on my server, on my Jamulus server. So I could just put that up, and if people want to just pop on and experiment,
I see yours up there all the time. Like if,
I just keep it open.
yeah, if you can't find her server, look under your drop-down list under folk
under
choir genre,
choirs, yeah.
and Sandy's server is right in there. We can all meet and have tea someday.
Yeah, and we have one as well. It's called School of Rock West Seattle.
Great.
It's our
I've
private
seen that.
That's
server
your
that we
server.
use.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, we
I've
use
seen
it
it.
for our
But-
band rehearsals. So
I may just drop that into the Facebook chat, just so that people can have a place to go and just
Now, can
figure
one,
it out. You know,
can-
sometimes you just need to figure it out. And
Yeah.
There,
Can
yeah.
you
more
don't
than
have
one
a
group,
spot.
can more than one ensemble use those one of those servers at the same time?
No.
No.
But that's why it has like, you'll see 0/25 because I'm set up to have up to 25 people on it.
How expensive
Are
is
we
this?
still
It's
live?
free. It's just like
I wonder if we're still live. Let me check that.
We are.
That would be interesting. I thought I was clear with my instruction, but I wasn't. Offline? Can we go offline? This is the bonus.
That's
This
okay.
is the bloopers
they
reel.
Can stay on if they want. But I've got it.
Hi, Laura. Can you hear me?
Yes, hi.
Hi. You're gonna have to go to your YouTube and end
Oh,
the
I
stream.
have to stop it.
It's the only way.
Bye, YouTube. Everybody wave goodbye to YouTube.
Wow! Say goodbye to YouTube. It's not happening yet for a while because it's slow to update my page. Here, end stream. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Bye, you.